Welcome back to Couch Talk, everybody. I just got done watching How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. This is the epic conclusion to the Hiccup and Toothless saga. And wow. Just wow. I gotta say, I'm not a giant fan of cartoons or animation or whatever you want to call it. I love Toy Story and everything, but I'm not like... Let me reword this. I go and see every animated movie, but they're not the things that get me the most excited. Like, I've seen Frozen, and I've seen all the Toy Stories, and I've seen all the Monsters Inc., and I've seen Moana, and I've seen Coco, and I see everything. You know, part of being a critic and having a deep love for movies, you see the things that you're not even really that excited about just for the sake of going. But I gotta say, through everything, I've always really loved the How to Train Your Dragon series, because at its heart, it's really just kind of about a boy and his pet. And I think that what makes these so relatable is that they make Toothless very much like a pet. Like, he does things that pets would do, whether it's licking you or playing catch or, I don't know, anything. But the loyalty between Hiccup and Toothless is also something that you can relate to with you and your dog, because there's just no love like a love from a pet. I keep saying dog because I have a dog, but, you know, Toothless mimics things from, like, cats too. But there's like an old saying that always gets me. It's like, if you take your significant other and you take your pet and you throw them both in a trunk, wait an hour, when you open that trunk again, 10 times out of 10 your significant other is going to come out and punch you in the face, whereas your pet is going to come out happy to see you. At least a dog would. A dog would come out wagging its tail and licking you in the face. And you feel that in this movie. You see this bond grow, and that's another thing I love about these movies. Over time, you grow with the main characters. It's not like each movie takes place like relatively close to each other. Like the first movie, Hiccup was really young, and the second movie, he was more of like an older teen, and then this one, he's a full-fledged adult. And I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but he is the, you know, leader of this tribe of Vikings, whereas in the first one, he was just a member, a child. Gerard Butler, his father, makes his way back into this movie even after the events of the last one through flashbacks. The villain in this movie is a little one-dimensional. He doesn't really have any smart reason to be there other than he just wants to hunt down every Night Fury and kill them. But for the material that he was given when he was on the screen, he was menacing. It's just, I feel like now we're spoiled with such great villains like the Joker and Loki, that I require my villains to have a good reason behind doing the things that they do. Like with Thanos, like he was trying to save half the galaxy, so one would argue that he's actually a hero. But like, I just want that now from villains. Like, I just hate I just want to take over the world, so I'm going to do it for the sake of it kind of villains, because those are really boring. And that's what you get in this. But that's the weakest part of this movie. I honestly like this movie just a little bit more than the rest of them. I always liked the second one better than the first one. And I think that's because the second one was more relatable in the sense of, like, me and Hiccup were kind of like the same age, whereas in the first one, he was kind of a little kid. And I didn't watch the first one when it first came out in theaters. I actually watched it, like, a year ago when I caught the second one on TV, and I really loved it. And I went back and watched the first one. And the thing I love about this is he's an adult now. You know, we're growing with him, just like, you know, we grew with the Harry Potter movies. And the tones in this movie are a lot more mature, and they know that most of the audience going to see these movies are people that have grown up with the movies, so it needs to kind of stay with the times, and it does a great job of balancing a kid-friendly movie with very dark, serious undertones that only adults would get, but that kids would just kind of like have a good time watching. I noticed Hiccup actually fights people in this one. In the last two movies, he's not like really a fighter, but in this one he is, and it just shows that he has evolved into the leader that the Vikings need, and his character arc is just amazing. But overall, the real story here, the heart of the story, is with Hiccup and Toothless, and their friendship is the driving force of this movie, and it is incredible. Yeah, all of Hiccup's friends are back, but they're very, like, one note. They're there to kind of just be like punching bags and one-off jokes. And Jon Snow's character, Kit Harington, he's barely in the movie, which is a shame. I know he's not like an A-list actor, but I just love him as Jon Snow. So, like, knowing that he was in this movie, he was great in the last one, and he had a lot of screen time. But in this one, it was really, really just Hiccup and his girlfriend and Toothless and the Bright Fury, or the Light Fury. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Light Fury. Their relationship is so good, and alone makes this movie amazing. But as you see in the trailers, this movie is a tearjerker, and I will say I I do get emotional easily. I will not lie, movies do tend to choke me up, but this is the first time in a long time that I found myself trying to fight weeping. Because the end of this movie is sad, and it's not sad in a way where like it leaves you like so distraught and destroyed. It's like a bittersweet ending. Like it ends in a way that makes sense, that's perfect, and it couldn't have been any other way. It's sad, but it's like a happy sad. I can't really dive into too many spoilers, but not a lot of cartoons did this for me, except for Lilo and Stitch, which is funny because it's the same creator. Well, someone wrote these books, but it's the same director from Lilo and Stitch that came in here. So this guy is good at tugging at the hearts, because I don't get that a lot in these like Disney movies. Like they make you feel, obviously, but not weep, and that's what this gave me. Honestly, this movie, if it wasn't for the villain, I would give it a perfect score, but I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I easily think it's the best one in the series, with the way that it handles its tones, with maturity, with the stakes that are on the line, with the action. The cinematography here is better than anything else, which unfortunately is due to the times and nothing to do with the fact that they were just lazy in the last couple, but it just had a lot going for it for me, and I love payoffs, man. I love the last movie in trilogies because it's just like everything you've been watching for the last 10 years has led up to this moment, and the payoff to this was so fulfilling, and it really left me walking out of the theater happy and satisfied. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you sad to see this end? Have you seen it yet? And what do you think are in the top 5 best trilogies of all time? In all honesty, I would put this up there with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Star Wars. I think that this is an excellent trilogy of films, and that it deserves to be up there with the giants, because although Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, they're all exciting and everything, none of them made me feel the way this did, and I feel that that's really hard to pull off nowadays when we've seen some of the same, like, when we see so many like movies do the same thing over and over, and it just feels fresh and original. And honestly, I would say top 3 best trilogies are Star Wars, followed by Lord of the Rings, followed by How to Train Your Dragon. Truly, I believe that it is better than Harry Potter, and I love Harry Potter. I went to Universal Studios just to go to Hogwarts. Anyway, let's talk about it down below, and as always, I'll catch you next time.